Shema Israel. Hope you enjoy this next study. My name's Dee. This is my wife, Millie.
So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you wish to reach out to us, you can email us at devotedtoyah@gmail.com.
Okay. Matthew chapter 13, starting at verse 1. It says, on the same day, Yahusha went out of the house and sat by the sea, and great multitudes were gathered together to him, so that he got into a boat and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. Then he spoke many things to them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell on the wayside, and the birds came and devoured the seeds. Some seeds fell on stony places, where they did not have much earth, and they immediately sprang up because they had no depth of earth, so they weren't deep in the ground. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. But others fell on good ground and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. That's a message right there from Yahusha. And I think, again, this is something I think I struggled with in my life, is speaking in parables, when to speak in parables. You know, like if Yahusha did it, we should be doing it too.
Question.
And yeah, go ahead.
Another way I'm asking is speaking in parables could also be just another way of when you're trying to explain something to someone to where how they can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be correct? Because I know I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Try to
But
get
like,
on their level.
yeah, but like here, Yahusha doesn't really, at the moment, he's not breaking it down like we
Right.
tend to do, right? We're always trying to make them understand it in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like he straight up gave a story and then just left them hanging.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
I'm
Like,
sure a lot of them are farmers too, and a lot of them,
yep,
do that in their life, so they kind of get what he's saying.
yep. So we do we should be doing the same thing. We take earthly examples, modern day examples, concepts, whether it's banking, whether it's business, entrepreneurship, technology. We take these things that we got to know our audience, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly.
speak their language, and try to bring these principles and aspects of these earthly things that are relatable, similar to spiritual things.
You give them that aha moment.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. So I think he's going to get into this later on. He's going to explain it. Yeah, he's going to explain it. Verse 18. I want to explain it now, but I'm going to flow with the story. So we're going to go to the next parable. All right. Next parable, verse 10. And the disciples came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? Again, remember, Yahusha, there's a multitude gathered together to him. Remember, we talked about disciples versus guests. You know, you got the multitudes who would follow Yahusha to hear what he had to preach, but they really weren't part of his intimate group of students. So these are one of those moments where he's speaking in parables to a multitude of people, and his disciples are coming up to him and they're like, why do you speak to them, the multitudes, in parables? And he answered, Yahusha answered them, and he said, because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, again, talking about, I guess, revelation and knowledge, right? To know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. When you know this, Yahoo is going to give you more responsibility, more understanding, more wisdom, and you're going to get it in abundance. But whoever does not have this knowledge, even what he has will be taken away from him. Therefore, I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, hearing you will hear and shall not understand, and seeing you will see and not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn, so that I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For surely I say to you that many prophets and righteous men desire to see what you see and did not see it, and to hear what you hear and did not hear it. I'm just going to say one thing. This seems contradictory to what we always feel is the right thing to do, which is to try to break down and help people to understand and really comprehend and be patient with them. Yahusha is sounding like I'm not being patient with them. I'm going to give them a mystery. And if they can't see it, it's because they haven't been chosen to see it. That sounds a little contradictory to, hey, Yahusha, so don't you think you should break it down to them and kind of connect the dots for them and do the ABCs with them and everything? This kind of sounds like he knows they don't understand, and he's only going to give them this little snippet to see who are the ones that do understand. He's not really trying to break it down in the midst of that audience. That's pretty wild. And I'm not saying that Yahusha did this every time. Obviously, he preached a lot and he spoke a lot. But that's kind of what I'm getting from here, which is that's pretty rough. That's pretty tough. It's like, what are you talking about? And the response would be like, you may never understand.
Well,
Or
even the prophets.
Remember D-Rail a couple of weeks ago, we were saying, go and find out what this means. When
Yeah.
Yahusha would say, go and find out what this means.
Go learn what this means.
That seems pretty disrespectful, right? Like somebody's like, hey man, explain to me what you're talking about. No, you go find out what it means.
Research it.
You know.
Study, just like Paul says, study to show thyself approved.
Now, I'm not saying that this is what you do all the time, because even the Ethiopian, remember in the book of Acts, the Ethiopian on the chariot was reading the book of Isaiah, and Peter came to him and was like, do you know what you're reading? And the Ethiopian's like, how can I know what I'm reading unless someone teaches me?
Right.
And so Peter took the time to sit down with him and to start explaining. So there's a time and a place. What I'm trying to explain is there's a time and a place for this. Nonetheless, it happened.